I personally love white people myself, right? I think we all do, right? They're good people. They try to help out whenever they can, right? And I just wanted to tell you that before I let you know that every one of their brothers is also their cousin. They love to act like they're the standard of civilization, yet their family trees look more like tangled vines. They mock other cultures for inbreeding, yet their own royalty married siblings for centuries. They talk about family values, but their historical elite kept bloodlines pure in the most literal way possible. They insult rural communities for marrying cousins, but Europe's aristocracy was one long genetic experiment. They claim superiority while their own genealogy charts look like spaghetti. They refuse to acknowledge that their wealthiest, most powerful families are all disturbingly related. At some point, we have to ask, if they are the pinnacle of human civilization, why do so many of their ancestors have the same last name twice? White people mock inbreeding in other cultures, but European aristocrats literally built their dynasties on it. The Habsburgs, one of Europe's most powerful families, was so inbred that their last king, Charles II, could not talk or chew. British, French, and Spanish royalty married their cousins for centuries to keep power within the family. Russian czars intermarried so much that hemophilia became a genetic curse. Even today, European royal families are still mostly marrying distant cousins. The result? Generations of royalty with weak immune systems, deformities, and mental disabilities. Dynasties that literally collapsed because their bloodlines were too weak. And yet, white people act like aristocracy was a mark of superior breeding. If they were really so advanced, why did their most powerful families barely have different DNA? The wealthiest white American families are all related. Presidents, senators, and business tycoons come from the same tiny bloodlines. They marry within the same elite circles to keep wealth and power concentrated. They pretend they got rich through hard work, but it's really just inherited connections. Most US presidents are distant relatives, including Obama and George Bush. The Vanderbilts, Rockefellers, and Morgans intermarried to keep control of the baking industry. The British royal family still controls power by marrying within their own aristocracy. Even Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates come from interconnected elite families. White elites aren't self-made, they're just cousins keeping wealth within the family. White people love making inbreeding jokes about Appalachia, but those jokes come from reality. Many isolated white communities have genetic disorders due to linked intermarried populations. White Virginia, the heart of white coal country, has some of the highest rates of cousin marriages in the US. Meanwhile, they mock Middle Eastern and South Asian cousin marriages, even though their own history is full of it. They ignore the fact that their own pioneer ancestors often married within the same small settler communities. And they act like they have superior genetics, after generations of closed bloodlines. These people were not avoiding inbreeding. They were just doing it behind closed doors. DNA testing keeps proving that these people are more closely related than they think. Europe's population bottleneck means many modern white societies share distant ancestry. Genetic studies show that entire regions of white populations are basically extended families. They claim to be diverse, but have more genetic overlap than they'd like to admit. Meanwhile, they call other cultures incestuous without looking at their own history. I absolutely love white people, but they act shocked when they find out their family trees actually loop back around. They obsess over ancestry tests only to realize that their lineage is just the same few surnames repeating. They aren't just related in theory, they're related in practice. European nobility called it a dynastic marriage instead of inbreeding. White American elites call it old money instead of marrying cousins. White rural communities ignore it while pointing fingers at others. They rewrite history to make their own family entanglements look noble instead of embarrassing. What's the difference? If an Arab or South Asian family arrange a cousin marriage, white people call it backward. If a white elite family keeps intermarrying within their class, it's called legacy. They aren't against inbreeding, they just rebrand it. And look, we all love white people, okay? Obviously. I mean, they're superior in many ways. But if they were genetically superior, why did many of their royal bloodlines look like copy-pasted DNA? Cope.